what is the plan in relation to the review of the Local Government Act?
Thank you very much, Vijay. In terms of the review of the Local Government Act, the plans thus far is to look at how we could amend certain sections of the Act to make sure that the elections are held in a timely manner, and it is held in a free and fair manner. So the whole idea is to look at specific provisions within the Act that look at elections. There's mainly as part of parts 2 and 3 of the Local Government Act. That is the current plan in terms of how to look at the review. In terms of moving forward in terms of the review of the entire Act, which is obviously due for a very long time, it's an Act dating 1972, what we propose to do is bring in place amendments and work with the elected councillors to come in and work with them to put in place all the other amendments. So currently the process as it is to look at the amendments in relation to the elections.
So the only amendments are related to the local government elections,
yes.
And you will wait for elected councillors to come into office, work with them, as you've said. A lot of questions had come in regarding that. Thanks for addressing that. Now, from 2008 onwards, we have not had a democratic setup of municipal councils, as the special administrators are appointed to look after the councils instead of councillors elected by the people. What are some of the challenges going forward?
Yeah, you very rightly pointed out, in 2008 there were special administrators. So over the years, it's almost 15 years since councils have had to work with councillors. This whole team of people who provide a lot of policy direction to councils. Keeping in mind that even the group of staff within the councils or the CEOs who are currently there, they've never had to deal with councillors for the past 15 years. We have noted some of these challenges, and what the ministry and especially the working group has sort of come up with, and this is as per the mandate of Cabinet, is to work towards developing a series of policies, guidelines and documentation. So things like working in terms of a code of conduct for councillors, as to how they're going to conduct themselves, and a number of other things, developing financial guidelines, developing HR guidelines, basic operating procedures as to how they conduct themselves. They will be an interesting transition because of the fact that councillors, as I said, are like your policy arm of the council, whilst your CEOs are your operational arm. So it's very much like a setup of a ministry. The minister is the policy head, while the permanent secretary takes responsibility of operations. So these challenges are, things that getting used to the new patterns. And so some of the things we also will be doing is we are already working with development partners like the Commonwealth Local Government Forum to come up with a training plan for the staff, and also an induction plan for the councillors when they come in. Because it's all good to have elections, but how do they move forward and run the institutions? So it's based on past experiences of, when councillors were there, learning from the experiences of special administrators, and how we can make sure that the new group of councillors sort of work within certain ambits.
For many, it's just new territory because
Exactly.
The last elections was held in 2005.
Yes, so 18 years ago. It's quite a I think someone who was probably born in 2005 could vote next year. So.
How can the public participate in the review process? A lot of questions have come in about that. A lot of excitement building that there's another elections coming up next year. And why is it important for public participation?
Thanks, Vijay. Public participation is very important. The setup of local government, as we say, it's more about your little councils and like within the town boundaries, and a lot of people feel closer to your local. They feel that they could make more input in the operations of their councils as per looking at the national level. So people participation is very important in the process. And we have made sure, the working group from the beginning, ever since we've been appointed around February this year, is to to make sure that the voices of the people were heard from the beginning. So the first round of, in fact, consultations that we've done was going to every single municipality and hearing from people what would they like changed, who would they like to see as their candidates, and who should have the right to vote, and a number of other things amongst that we discussed. So now we have, after that process, we've been able to do drafting and look at amendments to the Act. We're taking it around to the people again. We're going to every single municipalities, 13 of them, starting next Monday. We will be presenting what we've done thus far and what are the amendments. We will be asking for their opinions. And this time, to make the process more inclusive, we're having people to fill out online questionnaires, on the basic amendments. What are their opinion on it? We're also having questionnaires available at the face-to-face consultations, where people can have that opportunity to say, yes, I wrote this. This is what I exactly said, rather than just having a verbal exchange of ideas. So we want people to be able to, even if they're not able to attend the consultation face-to-face, they can always get a copy online, or even, we'll make sure there's copies available with the councils to be able to answer those questionnaires and participate in the process.
So where can they see these proposed amendments?
The proposed amendments should be available on our website at least by Friday. We should have it available. So the thing is, the way the law is written, the amendments will be very hard to understand, saying this part is deleted and that part is. We have, one other thing we're also doing is preparing flyers where people will say, in very layman's term, understand what is being amended in the Act. So we're not going to go on these consultations in a very technical term. If you listen to how lawyers speak, they will tell you this section end is deleted to be replaced by this word or whatever. But what we're saying is, we want you to explain to them what is in the Act right now and what is going to happen. So the amendments, and during the presentations, we'll be presenting to people exactly. So we have a 2-hour slot in each town from 5 to 7 p.m. and we'll be presenting in detail.
All in the afternoon, 5 to 7 p.m.?
Yes, we would want as many people to participate, because during the day, people are either at work or looking after their businesses and things like that.
And you're doing massive campaigns in relation to this to ensure you get as many people as possible in those halls?
Yes. So we will be extensively advertising it in the newspapers. We've asked all the councils to have it available at prominent places within their towns and cities. So they'll start putting up this information. We've also asked that they circulate it to their residents, so people are fully aware of the dates and times. But the first publication should come out in the newspapers tomorrow as to the exact times and the venues.
In relation to ensuring that you have a blast of information out there, what are the other options you're looking at based on maybe people may not have access to newspapers? We're
looking at the social media also. I guess a lot of people use social media. The last time we used mobile platforms to get SMS blasts out. We're trying to see if we can able to do that again. But we're using a lot of traditional media. There will be a number of radio. Your talkback show is quite a good thing to get it launched in, saying, okay, we have done a press conference this morning where we've circulated to every media in terms of the schedules. So we're trying to use as many forms. And as we said, we're using the councils to get out the information to their residents.
I have questions sent in, so I'll be asking those questions along the way. There's this question from Philippe Nguio. He says,